Hi, great to get to know you and great to talk about Pesach. You'll be very surprised to know that the first person that we know about who kept Pesach at all, who ate matzah on Pesach, was none other than Avraham Avinu, of the patriarch Abraham. He served matzah, as did Lot, his nephew, who learned it from him. Now, the Torah wasn't given yet. The Jews hadn't been in Egypt yet. What on earth was he eating matzah for? It wasn't on sale at the local kosher pharmacy, or well, I won't call it a pharmacy. It's not actually sick. But some of us seem to see matzah as being less than bread. So the idea is that in earlier times, when people looked inside themselves, without the distractions that we have in the modern world, if they were willing to ask the big questions, they found the big answers. So Avram was a person who, from the time he was very young, he looked at the world and he saw it with great wonder. He compared it to a beautiful palace that was on fire. It's beautiful, it's intricate, it's amazing, but there's also destruction and also inexplicable tragedy. He came to the conclusion that both are part of reality, and that reality was authored in both dimensions by a being that brought things into existence without being dependent on anything else. All physical things are dependent on other physical things. No one ever saw anything make itself. Okay, the source of all things, he concluded, that he saw the wisdom on one hand and the inability for the human mind to totally grasp it, was what we would call the Creator. So he would look at the creation, at his own body, at the world itself, and say, what's its message? So the great sage Maharal says amongst the messages he saw was the seasons, spring, renewal. You could look at it and say, I'm part of that. Or you could say, I'm humble, I'm not the creator. So matzah, it's the plainest possible food, flour and water, a 2-ingredient dish. He said, that's me. My body is like flour. It comes from the earth and it'll return to the earth. But my soul is like water. It comes from a higher source. But once you mix them, you can't separate them anymore. The me is body and soul. And when things are being renewed, I want to remember that. He was able to pass out his ideas about God, not just to his immediate family, his wife Sarah, who has a history of her own, and her son Yitzchak, who was born to him in his old age, but to thousands of people. And in turn, you could ask where they will go to. And the answer is, they didn't have what we have as Jews, as Avram's descendants, with whom there was a covenant. A covenant means an agreement with two sides. Avram sought Hashem. Hashem revealed himself and said, you'll be my people. But he also gave him a mitzvah, a commandment, in this case circumcision. So, discovery. So you have Avram and all of his people who are not part of this covenant, who had to do nothing. The belief was in their hearts, not in their deeds. But they were a family. What made us emerge from being a family to a nation? The sojourn in Egypt. We had to go down there. We had to discover who we are, from discovering who we're not and what we don't want to be. That's the first step for all of us. Pesach is a holiday of discovering first, I want more. I want Jewish. I want connection to God. And we saw the miracles that demonstrated to us who weren't quite on Avram's level. God's here. He could do whatever he wants, and he knows each individual. Okay. That knowledge that God knows every individual, and he's there for you in your life, and he could do anything, and your willingness to respond by saying, and I'll be yours. That's what Egypt did for us. That's called redemption. Redemption is being able to be yourself.